It's youth baseball tournament time in Southwest Georgia. We'll talk with Jeff Fussell from the Sumter County Parks and Rec Department right after this.
Welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast, covering local sports in the Southwest Georgia area, creating content that is factual, positive, and informative, promoting efforts by athletes, coaches, and sports administrators. Now, here's your host, Tim Estes.
Welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast, powered by Harper's Tree and Stump Removal. If you have any tree trimming or stump removal needs, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal has you covered. They can haul rock and sand. They can build ponds or repair pond dams, and can even do horizontal grinding of large wood debris piles. Give Keith a call at 229-314-2048 or at 229-938-2412. Harper's Tree and Stump Removal is proud to be the premier sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast. The Sumter County Parks and Recreation Department recently completed the 2023 youth baseball season, and it was another good year with nearly 300 kids participating in that local league. Coach Jeff Fussell manages the youth baseball program here in Sumter County, and Jeff is our guest today. Jeff, thanks for joining me.
Glad to be here, and thank you for asking me to be on.
Jeff, let's start out with just kind of a quick overview of the baseball program in Sumter County. Kind of let people know the age groups that you offer and what the differences are in each age group, and kind of how many teams you had in each age group. Just give us a brief overview of all that.
Well, we have ages 5 through 12 with the age control date September the 1st, meaning whatever age you're going to be on September the 1st of the current year is your playing age. In the 5 and 6 year old age group, we have a instructional league. We give them 2 pitches that the coach delivers, and if they don't hit them, then we'll set it on a tee for them. And it's mainly to teach them the basic fundamentals of baseball, how to run the bases in order. I know some people might laugh at that, but that does tend to happen a lot.
You got that right.
And then in our more competitive leagues, 7 and 8 year olds are together, 9 and 10 year olds are together. And both of those leagues are pitching machine leagues. The ball is delivered by the umpire through a pitching machine at different speeds for the different age groups. And then our 12 and under, which is 11 and 12 year olds, is a live arm. In our 12 and under and 10 and under, we had 6 teams each, had a great turnout in those leagues. We've been down in those leagues over the last few years, but had a great turnout. They each had about 12 kids on a team. And then in our instructional league and then our 8 and under league, we had 5 teams each in those 2 leagues. And they had 13 or 14 kids on those teams. But overall, we had, like you said, right at 300 kids, just a little bit shy of that. But it was really a good year as far as registration and the turnout.
A lot bigger than it's been the past couple of years. Jeff, do you see folks finally starting to get over a little bit of their fear of COVID?
I do. We knew going into that was going to take a time for us to get past that. And I think we are trying to come out of the pandemic. And understandably, I do understand that. There's still some skepticism, but still I think that does play a big part into our growth this year.
Jeff, all of the coaches that you utilize there in your baseball program, they're volunteer coaches. Tell our audience, if they're interested in becoming a volunteer in any sport, what's the process? What do they have to go through to do that? And then talk to me a little bit about the men and women that you had as volunteer coaches in this year's program.
Well, I tell them all the time that the program that I'm over, that no recreation department, big or small, cannot survive without volunteers, whether that's the coach or doing any other thing that we need them to volunteer. But the coaching aspect part of it with the volunteers is vital to any recreation department. If you're interested in being a volunteer coach for us, you just need to reach out to us, call the office or contact myself or you. And there's a coaching application that you have to fill out. It's just a little one-page thing. That's mainly to get your contact information. And then there's a link on that application that tells you where to go. And that's to our website. And there's a link on our website. And you just click on that, fill that out. It does a little background check on you. They send that information to me. Nobody else sees that but me. And then at the end of the season, all that's destroyed, shredded, and they eliminate those accounts from their account. And it's done by NCSI.
Which is a national certification, correct?
Correct. It's an in-depth background. Obviously, we can't be too careful when we're dealing with children, but as I said, they only contact me if there is something, and I'm the only one that knows that, or Dwight if it's one of his programs.
So, Jeff, tell me about those folks that were volunteer coaches this year in your baseball program. I know we had several men and even a few women that did a great job, but talk to us a little bit about those folks.
Well, they've done a great job. I can honestly say we got a great group of volunteer coaches this past year. They were always willing to do what I asked them to do. They were patient with me when you need that a lot with the weather and doing some schedule changing around after the original schedule was out. But I couldn't have asked for a better group this year. They've all been very cooperative, and I think that they're doing some great fundamental teaching of the game.
So, Jeff, now your regular season's over. You've even gone through a local tournament and gotten that complete, and you've got an 8 and under, a 10 and under, and a 12 and under all-star team, one in each of those divisions. And I know this is always that time of year where you get some phone calls or some emails wanting to know why this kid made the all-star team and another one didn't. Really, from what I've seen, not much negative over the last few years, but certainly some folks want to know the process. Give our audience, give them an overview of how that process is done.
And there are some that get disappointed this time of the year, and understandably so. But the recreation department and myself, we don't have a vote in the process. We don't do the selecting. All I do is mediate the meeting and make the coaches fall in line with the procedure and the policy that we have set up. Before the regular season is over with, I give out a nomination form, and the coach can nominate how many kids he feels is deserving that played for him during his regular season on his regular season team. I get those nomination forms, and then I compile a master ballot. And then we have a coaches meeting for head coaches, and we come and vote. You cannot vote for a kid that was on your regular season team / one that you nominated. You can only vote for the other kids that were nominated. So if you make this team or make our all-star team, you're on there because the other coaches in the league that you played against all year thought enough to put your son or put your player on the team. And again, as I said, we don't have a vote in that, so we can't catch any criticism for that. But I think we got it down to a pretty good science. We might need to tweak it here and there, but it does work out pretty good.
And Jeff, all those things are put under the Open Records Act. So when a coach is in that meeting and they do the voting, that's a matter of record that's open to the public records request.
That's true. And I'll let them know that up front. Any notes that they might want to make, please don't do that on that ballot because somebody might see that.
Yeah.
I do give them a scratch piece of paper, so to speak, where they can make notes over to the side and stuff like that. But this is my 16th baseball season I just got through with, and I think we've had one or two over those 16 years that wanted to come and see how the voting went. But for the most part, as I said, we don't have any say so in who's on the team. And that's a good thing for us. And I think that's a fair way to do it is the coaches that participated against these players all year are the ones that need to select it.
Jeff, and I've heard you say many times, we've done everything that we feel like we can do to take the politics out of it. But as in any process, the longer you go, people kind of find loopholes. So we've done everything we can do that we know of to take any of that political process out of it. But for the most part, they get it right, don't they?
They do. They do. There's always one or two, like I call them on the fence type players. They could go either way. There's sometimes there's 4 or 5 of those, and you get 2 or 3 of them, and then there's probably 2 or 3 other ones that could be on there just as good as easy as those 2 or 3 could. But it's just, it is what it is, so to speak. I just, it could go either way, and sometimes it goes your way, and sometimes it don't. But for the most part, they generally get it right.
So today's program is also being brought to you by Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance. His office is located at 925 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Americus. Drop by and see Marty or any of his staff, or you can give them a call at 928-3686. They would be happy to sit down and discuss your insurance needs. And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Jeff, now that you've got your all-star team selected, give us an idea of what their schedule is and the process from here until they get finished.
Well, we just got through last week with our playoffs for our regular season, and so this week, as we're speaking, we're playing over in a warm-up tournament over in Hawkinsville. My good buddy Kenny White has been doing this tournament over there for 27 years, I think you told me the other day. Matter of fact, I coached my son in that tournament, so that's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
But Kenny does a great job. He's got a small facility, but it's always kept up very nice. His fields are always in great shape. And he's got 22 teams over there between the 8 and under and the 12 and under age groups. So it's turned out to be a good little tournament. Today, the 8 and under and the 10 and under are in the finals. Somebody's got to beat those teams twice to knock us off, and then our 12 and under team is in the winners bracket final. That final will be tomorrow night if we get that far. But so far we've played really well. I've been real pleased with the way we have played this week. Next Saturday, June the 3rd. Is that right? Am I telling you that right? Yes. Our district starts down in Moultrie, and all 3 teams, 8 and under, 10 and under, and 12 and under, will be playing in Moultrie next Saturday, starting in the district tournament. And we'll see how that goes. This warm-up tournament is getting them prepared for that, to play some competition and just give the coaches an idea of how these kids are going to perform when a little pressure is put on them, so to speak.
And Jeff, I know down in Moultrie, they've got to either win the tournament or in some cases maybe come in first or second to advance to the state. How does that work?
Yeah, that's right. Our 12 and under, as I told the coaches, there's no gimmies this year. We got to win the district to advance to the state. And that state tournament will be in Statesboro at Bullock County Recreation Department. But the 10 and under and the 8 and under, the top 2 in the district will advance to the state. The 10 and under is going to be in Lyons, Georgia, over near Vidalia. And then the 8 and under will be in Effingham County. So the top 2 will advance from the 8 and under and the 10 and under, and just the district champ in the 12 and under. And that's done by a vote from the district itself. Right. So, that was settled a couple of weeks ago.
So, Jeff, Sumter County is a member of the Georgia Recreation and Park Association. Many know that as GRPA. You and I have both at different times served as the state athletic chairman of that association. But give our viewers a little rundown of what GRPA is, how it's divided into districts, and also tell us why you feel GRPA is a good fit for the kids in Sumter County.
Well, it is what those letters stand for: Georgia Recreation and Park Association. It's recreation. baseball, basketball, soccer, you name it. We're not a travel organization. We're there for the recreation people, and there's nothing wrong with playing both. You can play travel ball and play recreation ball. For the most part, recreation baseball or whatever the sport may be happens during the week, and then the travel ball scenario usually takes place on the weekend. I'm mighty proud to be associated with the organization. I was very humbled to serve as its state athletic committee chairman. It's a powerful committee that you're chairing. For those of us that don't know, that they're set the rules, policies, procedures that all athletics fall under. And we have to make some tough decisions sometimes and some tough calls. We get a lot of criticism, but we also get it right 90% of the time. So, that comes with the territory, but it's a great organization. I've met so many friends through the networking, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
And Jeff, it's divided into 7 districts. Is that geographical? Is that based on size? Tell them how that's done.
Yes, it is. There's 7 districts in the state, and it is in the divided into a geographical area. We're District 3. We go over from probably Columbus over to Montezuma as a straight line, and then straight down almost 75.
Yeah.
And all the way down to the Florida line. So we're one of the bigger districts in the state. At one time, we had about 34 agencies in our district, but I think now it's down to 28. But area-wise, we cover a lot of territory. I think it's a 3-hour trip from Columbus to Valdosta, which is from the top of our district to the bottom. Some of the metro districts around the metro area, they're a little bit smaller in area, but they are obviously heavier populated than we are.
Right.
And each one of those districts, when we have a tournament, has the right to send a representative to represent their district in whatever athletic event is going on at the time.
Are you in need of professional document shredding? Jeff, I know you do a lot of document shredding. Mike and Connie Gurley, owners of the Shred Shed, provide professional document shredding, and it's always at affordable prices. You can reach them at 938-2520, or you can contact them on their Facebook page. Thanks to Mike and Connie and the Shred Shed for being an official sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast. Jeff, you have now been involved in this for 15, maybe closer to 16 years as a recreation professional. Tell me what you enjoy about this profession. And Jeff, do you really feel like the work that you do makes a difference in the lives of kids in Sumter County?
I do. There's so much things that kids can get into nowadays, and by that I mean trouble, or they're just not doing nothing productive, so to speak. With recreation, it gives them something to do after school's over with, and on the weekends. And I think that we do make a difference in the lives. It gives people quality of life in our community. The biggest thing to me, the most satisfying thing to me about it is you see a kid that has never played baseball before, and they come and they go through our skills evaluations. And, when I'm trying to help them, and they struggle, obviously, at the first of the year, but toward the end of the year, they get that first hit, and you see that big smile come up on their face. That makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. Jeff, each week I give my guest an opportunity to talk about the support network they have behind the scenes, their family. Tell us a little bit about your family and how their being supportive has helped you.
Well, I have a wonderful wife, very supportive of the late hours that I keep. Been married to the same lady for almost 38 years now. I got 2 grown children who have children of their own. My daughter has 2 kids, Anna and Jack. And then my son Adam has a new baby, just a year old, and Ava. And obviously, I'm very good at spoiling the grandkids.
Yeah.
I've done a good job of that. I'm not good at a lot of things, but I have found out that I am pretty good at spoiling those grandkids. But they're all very supportive of the job. They know it takes a lot of time, but in the off season for me, I do get to spend a lot of time with them, and I'm very grateful for that.
Jeff, one of the things that's really neat to me about your situation is your wife is an administrator in the medical field, and now your daughter is really big into the medical field. You've been such an influence here locally in recreation and on the state level, and now your son Adam is following in your footsteps. That's got to be neat to see your two kids following what you and Susie do.
It is. It is. It's real neat to me, and it's a very enjoyable to me to get to be with Adam at our annual conference every year, and spend some time with him. We're both in the same field. He's in a little bit different field than I am, but still we're both in the recreation profession. And I know Susie's proud of him, and also of Kate. Kate's a nurse practitioner, and we're mighty proud of her. It's just a good feeling when your kids grow up and be successful. You can't ask for anything better.
That's right. Today's program is also brought to you by our friends at WMNZ AM 1050 Radio in Montezuma. Thanks to Lance Teal and the staff over at AM 1050 in Montezuma. They take the audio off of this program every week and play it on their radio station. So we certainly appreciate that. Jeff, I want to wrap things up with a discussion about the importance of young children playing recreational sports with their friends. You and I see a lot of travel sports, and certainly travel sports over the last 2 decades has played a part in diminishing the amount of kids that participate recreationally. But I think you and I both have pretty similar views on the importance of kids, especially young kids, playing recreational sports. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, travel ball, and it's getting. When I say travel ball, I mean travel baseball, but it's getting it to the stage now where it's affecting They have travel basketball, have travel football, so it's taking away from our programs. But as I said earlier, we're recreation. We're there for that kid that's not going to never play travel ball. We welcome the travel ball players to come and play with us, but we're not going to change anything that we do, so to speak, just to fit it into the travel ball schedule.
Right.
We're still going to keep doing our baseball Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and some Saturdays. If you want to come and play with us, please do. We're glad to have you. But I can see it affecting, as I said, basketball, soccer, and football. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking that, because I think the higher level, skill level players need that if they want to, advance to the next level. But we're for the recreation person, the person that's not going to never play. But we're for everybody also. Like I said, we welcome anybody that wants to play with us. But the main thing is we're recreation for that kid that's not going to never play a high school game, so to speak, or school ball. But he can come and play with his friends that he goes to school with, and play some baseball, and enjoy the game, enjoy football, basketball, whatever the case may be, soccer, and enjoy those games playing with their friends.
Yeah. Jeff, one of the neat things you and I have gotten to see over the years is when a kid from one of our local schools that grew up playing in our programs goes to a different school than maybe his buddy, and we go to watch a high school game, and one kid from one school's over at the other school supporting his friend. So they really do build friendships that last a long time through the programs that we operate, don't they?
They do. And that's another neat thing about, so when you see these kids leave the program, they go to different schools, like you're saying, but they still come, they stay friends. And that's one thing I can say about athletics. When you make a friend that's on your team, you're going to have that friend forever. That's just a connection that's made. And they do support one another from the recreation aspect of it, which makes puts a smile on my face also.
Jeff, we appreciate what you do here in Sumter County and through GRPA for the state of Georgia. We definitely want to wish the 3 all-star teams the best of luck in their upcoming district tournaments. But again, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Tim.
Thank you also for making the Integrity Sports Podcast, powered by Harper's Tree and Stump Removal, a part of your weekly routine. Let me just quickly remind you, if you're watching on Facebook today, please hit the like and share this video. We're also attempting to build our YouTube presence. We want to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure and go up and hit the subscribe button for us. But for my friend Jeff Fussell, I'm Tim Estes. Thanks for watching. So long, everybody.